There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a beautiful Monday, December the 5th. Super excited to be here with you all. We're going to be looking at my new favorite thing in the world, which is Am I the Asshole? And this is never my own stories. I'm always reading off the super popular thread, Am I the Asshole? So for anybody on YouTube who's been saying, well, Jonathan, you are an asshole. I mean, sometimes, but this isn't about me. This is about these amazing posts, and I'm hoping that I can offer some help. There's some light. It's Monday, guys. We'll get there together. Um, Before I get right into it, as always, I'm a coach. I'm a counselor. The background as a youth worker, so everything I'm saying comes from that experience. Not a medical practitioner of any sort. I'm not a therapist. But sometimes some mental health pieces do come up and I share from my experience what's going on. But my goal, I'm not diagnosing, I'm not doing any of that. But if anything comes up that's bothersome or you're curious about, I'm always happy to help people find the resources they need and to help create access. That's one of the things that I try and do. But without further ado, let's jump right in. So, am I the asshole for not letting my husband have any of my banana bread anymore? Again, this is my first time reading any of these, so I'll give my my thoughts, my analysis, and then we'll get right into it. So, am I the asshole for not letting my husband have any of my banana bread anymore? Whenever I, a 29-year-old female, have bananas that are close to going bad, I like to make them into banana bread. Bless. I make really good banana bread. However, my husband, a 31-year-old male, has this complex about eating baked goods with edges. He always has to eat the middle brownie or slice of cake, etc. So when the banana bread is cool enough to cut into, my husband goes in and cuts out the middle 1 to 2 inches to eat. He won't touch any other part of the bread. I don't mind eating the ends, but I never get to eat the middle, which in my opinion is the tastiest part. And worse, it causes the rest of the banana bread to dry out within a day, which I have to eat alone because my husband won't touch the remains of his pillage. Keep in mind, I'm the one doing all the work to make this bread, as well as all the cleanup. I've asked my husband not to do this, but he doesn't seem to care. So I just made a banana bread, and when he asked me if it was done, I informed him he is not allowed to have any if he can't start from the end like a civilized person. I've been living with this banana bread shenanigan for years, and I've had enough. My husband says I'm being ridiculous. Am I the asshole? Edit, my husband has seen this post, and we had a good laugh about how almost everyone took my side, much to his surprise. No guarantee he'll be changing his ways in the immediate future, but I've been given a lot of good tips of how to get revenge. So we'll see down the line. So, are you the asshole? It's a good question. I don't think you're the asshole at all. I think you're making banana bread, which is my favorite thing in the world. And this is coming from a person that whenever, like, my girlfriend is a pastry chef, whenever she makes banana bread, like, I just go to town. I never just eat the middle. I'll eat all the banana bread. But, I mean, can you blame me? It's so good. Am I the asshole? But this isn't about me. I don't think the original poster is an asshole at all. I think if you're putting in all the hard work to make a delicious banana bread, and then your husband goes and eats the middle, and like now you have to eat an entire loaf by yourself. Although I could, maybe it's not for everybody in one sitting, so it doesn't dry out. I think that's unreasonable. What I've learned over the years from my girlfriend is that you can freeze it. Instead of making banana bread, you can make banana like mini loaves or muffins, so you can have individual portions. If you have people in the house who lack impulse control, like if you're living with me, but that doesn't make you the asshole. That makes you creative to find different solutions to make it work. But yeah, if you've gone to your husband and said, hey, I appreciate that you prefer the middle, we all do, but start from the end, I think that's fair. So not the asshole. He's a bit of an asshole, but I like that this is fun and you got to take a look at it together and have a good laugh. Now, it did say revenge. I would find out what his favorite food is and just start taking the best bite out of all of that. That'll show him. Jokes, don't be vindictive. Not the asshole at all. Get revenge, make batter into muffins, and eat all the tops. Muffin tops are the best. I think the tops count as an edge. Interesting. I always like because it's more caramelized, right? Um, yeah, yeah. Everyone talking about muffin tops. I love muffin tops. That's my favorite thing too. But yeah, I'm gonna respond to this one after. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. Um, all right, here's a good one. Am I the asshole for going on a trip with my family that my wife isn't going on? Let's find out. Recently, my parents surprised me, a 26-year-old male, and my siblings, 16 and 19, with a ski trip this December, the day after Christmas. Very nice. My parents offered to pay for my expenses and said that my wife, 24, was welcome to come, but she would never need to pay her way. My wife and I are okay financially, but the trip being this close to Christmas, we wouldn't be able to afford to pay for her to go. Despite this, I really want to go on the trip as it was always a dream of mine to go on a trip like this. My family grew up dirt poor until I was about 15 when my parents' business took off, and now they are extremely comfortable and can afford to pay trips like this. That's awesome. They could certainly afford to pay for my wife to also go, but they have always been this way when it comes to paying for things for me versus my wife. My parents think it's only fair for me when we go out to eat or go on trips because they are still paying for my siblings. I don't ask them to, but it's nice to save money, so on every trip they will pay my way: room, board, excursions, meals, while my wife was expected to pay her way. This started before we were married. This has always bothered my wife, especially after we got married, and they still excluded her, so in these past 2 years since we got married, I tried to limit the trips since they bother her so much, but this is a once in a lifetime trip for me, so I thought she would be supportive of me going, but she's very upset and hurt. She wants to go on the trip, but like I said, we just can't afford it, which she understands. She told me she doesn't want me to have this. She told me she does want me to have this experience, but she is sad because she thinks my parents purposefully exclude her. Am I the asshole for choosing to go on a trip and leave her behind? I still have time to cancel on my parents, but I know they would be sad. Okay, this is an interesting one because there's a bit of assholery going on, a bit on maybe nobody's ends, but maybe a bit of both. Let me tell you what I mean. So, parents are offering to pay for a trip. Super, super nice. That's a super kind thing to do. But they know their son, who's married, can't afford to also bring his wife. And they could afford both, but they only pay for their kids. The issue is when there's only one person left out and that person happens to be married, it's tricky. Maybe they could figure out a way to split it. That would make sense to me. But why are we creating exclusive trips? Do they have a problem with the wife? That's kind of like if I was coaching the parents, I'd want to know more about why this is like a big deal to them. If they have the resources and they have the tools to bring her, but it's like we only pay for our kids, but one of the kids can't afford to bring their wife, so I guess she can't come, is like, it seems a little underhanded, a little. Not to say that they're the asshole. Maybe there's like a good reason. Maybe they just don't get along. Could be, or maybe they just want to have a trip with their kids, and maybe they should just say, "Oh yeah, it'd be we haven't had a trip since you got married, and it would be nice to just go with the kids." So, and also, the wife isn't mad that he's going on a trip. The wife's mad that she's being excluded. That's also a different problem. It's not like, oh well, you get to go on a trip and I don't. It's that her in-laws, even though she's married, are still excluding her from like the family stuff. I think that's the problem here. So I think the parents in a way are kind of assholes, although usually there's kind of a reason for that kind of behavior, but we'd have to ask some questions first. So no, you're not the asshole. No, she's not the asshole. The parents are assholes. Angsty Jonathan talking here. So let's see what some of these comments are. So you are well aware that your parents are intentionally excluding your wife, and apparently this is definitely not the first time, and you don't understand why she's hurt and upset about this, especially when it's during Christmas. Think about it, dude. Think real hard. Yes, the asshole. Interesting. Whoa, that's cool. That's fun. You can play with the lines. I had a moment. Sorry about that. Let's see what else people are saying. Oh, I see. You can click and see the next one. Very cool. Yeah, that would be my opinion. I'm going to keep this open to answer that one too. We're going to do one more today. And then we'll be back at it tomorrow because this is a lot of fucking fun. I swear. I'm sorry. It's Monday. It's 8. I haven't had... I should have a sip of coffee. Calm down a little. Delicious. Um, this is going to be a good one. Am I the asshole for insisting that my sister and her husband sign a lease agreement if they want to live with me? My sister and her husband live in Florida due to a recent natural disaster, and they are currently homeless. They have sort of worn out their welcome where they are staying. They have asked if they can move in with me until their home is rebuilt. I do not really have a problem with this. I have a guest suite over my garage. They are welcome to stay there. Here's the issue though. Their insurance is rebuilding their home and providing them with funding for temporary housing, but they want to keep all the money from the insurance. I want to help them, but I don't think that that's fair. They do not want to pay anything, not even utilities. They think that since I'm family, I should just help. I should not just help house them, but also pay for their electricity, water, heating, and internet. I told them no, that if they wanted the suite, they could rent it for cost, and that I would expect all the money from the insurance company to go into an account that could cover any damage they did while living with me. I think that's fair, but my parents and her in-laws are bugging me to let them move in without anything to cover my butt. Basically, everyone thinks I'm being a greedy asshole for trying not to get screwed. Am I the asshole? Um, Tricky one, for sure. I mean, I've had family stay. Like, I'm very fortunate to have a 2-bedroom place. I've had family and friends stay. Um, and I think, if you have the space at some level, you got to share in some way, shape, or form under an agreement, because it gets really tricky when family is there for months and months on end, right? Like, and after that, when it's time to kick them out, there was no agreement in place. It's better to do a lot of this stuff up front, much like a prenup or things like that. You don't want to be dealing with all that stuff when things get ugly. It's better when, everyone's having a good conversation. You can set the terms of the arrangement, so on and so forth. Now, the issue of money and rent, insurance. So, like, I guess maybe, like their home had a fire or something like that. Nobody got hurt. Insurance is paying for a rebuilt home and temporary housing, which is very, very lucky. And they're saying that the money for temporary housing should go to pay for the rent, which is, I actually think, pretty reasonable. But I would actually just give my family a break. Say, like, let's pay for like utilities, like a portion, pay just like a few $100s a month for the room and the space, just so there's skin in the game. We're taking care. We're never going to be at risk of taking advantage. That's kind of the way I would go about it, where it's like, okay, you want to save some money? Cool. Let's have some money here, to pay for, maybe a new paint job after or something like that. I think that's the way I would go. I don't think anybody's the asshole here. I think just you have to come to the conversation with some rules in place. Let's take a look. Not only are you not the asshole, they're trying to commit insurance fraud. Way to go, participant. That's hilarious. The insurance company giving them money for a place to live over it while theirs is repaired is contingent upon them paying for a place to live while theirs is repaired. They aren't paying anything and telling the insurance company they are. That's insurance fraud, and they're trying to make you an accomplice. This isn't. I'm glad I'm not in this situation, because I would not have even thought of the legal repercussions. So that's interesting. Pepper VL, very interesting. I'm guessing too, in Canada and in different states, there are going to be different rules about how insurance policies work, and it will depend on their insurance. But yeah, that would make them the asshole for sure if they're trying to make them an accomplice into this. You don't want that. That's not good. That's not good at all. Not the asshole. Anyone that thinks you're being a greedy asshole is welcome to house them for free in their own homes. Asshole aficionado. We'll upvote that one. I agree. Like, I don't think it should be so harsh and kind of dry, although that's part of the charm of this thread. But yeah, it's your home. And I think skin in the game is always a reasonable thing to do. Amazing. So with that out of the way, I want to thank you all for joining my stream. It's a Monday morning. Got a lot to get done this week with my company, The Journal That Talks Back, where we offer affordable and accessible coaching for young professionals is who we target, but really everyone. We're going to be launching a brand new website soon. But our current site is still pretty fun. There's some drag and drop stickers, which is super cute. But the point of it, the site, is for you to click the book a call button, book an intake call with me so I can match you with one of our own coaches. They're fantastic, and if coaching isn't a good fit, I'll help you even find a resource that's a better fit for you. That service is totally free. Book a call. I look forward to seeing you. I'll be on again tomorrow, so happy Monday, and we'll see you on the flippity flop.